welcome to another episode of Springfield Talks. My name is Ola. I've got very special guest today from a legal background, one of the most influential lawyers here in Dubai, Mr. Arash. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Arash, I see your videos all over the places on social media. I could tell you are very passionate about law. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Law, of course, I am passionate, and the reason is that this field was a field that I have researched and I did soul digging, and I realized that this is the thing for me. Hence, I agreed and decided to pursue this.
To become a lawyer. You're born here?
Born and raised.
Ah, lovely. So you're a Dubai gentleman.
Yeah, you can consider that.
That's lovely. So what makes you a good lawyer, or a fantastic lawyer, I should say, because I'm fascinated about your work, in Dubai real estate market?
Well, you're too kind to me. I don't consider myself perfect, but in any ways, if you have practiced in a certain industry for a long time and you have involved yourself in ins and out of that industry, you will gain some knowledge, and more valuable than that is that you will gain experience. It's not all about the knowledge, which you can read and study. The practice of that law is also important. In addition to that, when you have business experience as well, a combination of business skills and legal skills will make you a successful person.
So you come across so many clients on a daily basis, having issues, having problems. Just tell me a little bit more about your daily routine. What do you do?
Yeah.
What sort of clients you see every day?
So our work is actually divided into two parts. Number one is dealing with the daily inquiries that we receive. People that they are facing issues and difficulties, they get in touch with us. Obviously, there are so many filters that they have to pass to see whether there's no conflict of interest, whether the matter that they are referring to us is within our expertise, can we handle and assist them with that or no. And then if yes, then we will take on the matter. The second part is the existing clients that we are handling their tasks and providing their services. So that will keep us busy.
You know what? Let's dig deeper into legality and protection of customers and who wanting to purchase property here in Dubai. So someone, let's say from international, because I get a lot of inquiries from international clients, and they always ask, am I protected? Is there a consumer agreement or consumer affair protection? They don't want to bring their money here. They want to make sure they are protected. What sort of advices you give them?
See, I can say that Dubai has changed over time, and in the past 10, 15 years, we have seen a lot has changed. And it's all toward having a stronger, clearer legal framework, which aims toward having more protection and clarity for investors. They have in mind those type of people who have not been in Dubai or just heard about Dubai, and they want to attract them, and they want to create an environment for their investment, which is completely, you cannot say completely safe, but to be safe as much as possible. So this is the objective, right? So all the changes that you see in the legal system is toward that objective. And I can tell you that they have done an amazing work.
Job.
Amazing work.
You know what came to my mind? The difference between 2008, when the financial crisis has happened, and they've done a big change until now.
That's true.
Can you tell us more about that? Especially for people who don't have that enough knowledge about that.
Of course. See, the biggest change which we have seen is with regards to off-plan properties. Because you correctly mentioned about the issues in 2008. Most of the issues, you can say, was related to properties and projects that they were selling off-plan, right? Rather than the ready ones. So the government stepped in and decided to create more layers of security. And what I can tell you, or I can advise the clients who are trying to invest in the UAE for the first time, obviously as an expat, we are allowed to buy properties in a designated area. There are certain areas in Dubai, as you know, called the designated area. These are the areas that someone can purchase. So if they have offered anyone anything outside this designated area, they should not
They should not
consider.
buy, correct.
Right? So buying through that, it will be the transactions and everything related to the transactions and transfer of ownership is regulated by and supervised by two different authorities. Number one is DLD, Dubai Land Department. In DLD, all the properties are registered, projects are registered, and all the transactions as well are registered there. And then you have a part of DLD, which is called RERA, or Real Estate Regulatory Authority.
Yeah.
They are in charge of setting the regulations, which is
And
related
we
to
can
the
talk a
real
little bit
estate.
about the escrow account as well.
Of course, that's one of the layers
Yeah.
of protection. So previously, we did not have the escrow account. So if a developer is selling a property, launching a project, the investors will pay into the accounts of the developer.
Of the developer.
Right?
Yeah.
So there is no security, there is no guarantee there, right? So what happened then? Then the government introduced the escrow account system and they put it in place. So now every single dirham that an investor pays goes into this account, which is created in reliable banks of Dubai, and it's only related to this project.
And it's regulated and monitored by
And
the
controlled
government.
by the government.
Good.
So not even 1 dirham can be withdrawn from this account in favor of the developer unless if the government has given the green light to go ahead. And how they make these payments? Based on the construction level. So the
On milestones.
milestones.
Yeah.
So they reach those milestones, they request payments, the government will look into it. If everything is in place, then they will release the payment according to that milestone. So this is one of the
One of the
layers of security that they have put in place. The other one is that, of course, if you are buying an off-plan, you still have a title deed. It's a different type of a title deed. It's called Uqud. Uqud has the details of your property along with your name, confirming your ownership, but this is only for off-plan properties. When the property is ready, this will be converted into a title deed.
A title deed.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the title deed, so it's only get issued once the property is fully paid.
That's correct.
Okay, but before
Not fully paid. So basically, if you are buying an off-plan, you are buying a property which is not ready. That's why you will have the Uqud. But then when the property is ready, now this property has the possibility of having a title deed. You complete the payment, then the title deed will be issued in your name.
Sure.
So if you are buying in the secondary market, so and the property is ready, then this property is not considered an off-plan anymore, right? So it will have a title deed, and you will receive, because now we have a post handover payment plan,
exactly,
right?
yeah.
So it could be that there are pending payments, but yet the title deed has already issued for the first owner.
That's amazing. Tell us a little bit more about the golden visa now, because the rules has changed from previously.
Yeah.
But now if you purchase a property, a value of 2 million dirhams, you can
That's
get
correct.
the golden visa.
That's correct. So 2 million dirham worth of property. It could be different properties as well. So you can combine a couple of them and still can apply for the golden visa. And
Do they have to fully pay the 2 million dirhams, or they only pay 24%?
the 2 million dirham has to be paid because the value should
Sure.
show as 2 million dirham has been invested in a property.
Yeah.
So if you are buying a property worth of 4 million dirham and you have already paid the 2 million and you have a proof of your payment,
And then
you can apply for the golden visa.
Do the client have to keep the property to keep the golden visa?
That's a good question because the
Yeah.
property is locked, or the golden visa is locked to the
with
property.
the property, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you are trying to sell the property, either you can cancel your golden visa, or there is another option that you will buy another property, and then you will request to transfer the golden visa to the new property.
The reason why I asked you, because so many investors, they do flip over their properties. So they buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. But they want to keep the golden visa.
So
what's the best way to do it? In that
I would
case?
highly advise not to go through that route, and there are other ways of
Yeah.
getting a golden visa, which we do for our clients. So people that they are into flipping properties, it's going to be extremely difficult because every time you have to submit and send evaluation, and there is a long procedure.
It's a long process,
right?
yeah.
So we prefer not to go through that route. Instead, there are other ways of applying for a golden visa, which is through business investments, as well as if they are receiving salaries, they could be eligible for that. So we try to introduce different methods so they get their golden visa through that channel and leave the properties free to be sold.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, because I've been asked so many questions about specifically about the golden visa. Let's say, for argument's sake, if the developer fails to deliver the project on time or didn't complete the construction, can you tell me a little bit more, how can we protect the consumers' rights?
Great question. So I think before answering this question, we should talk about what are the securities involved here that the investor can benefit from it. Number one, as we mentioned earlier as well, the registration of the project. Any project that an investor is purchasing from, it has to be registered with RERA, with Dubai Land Department. And this is very easy. We do this type of due diligence for our clients, and we will find out if they are registered or not. Number one, they have to make sure that the project is registered. Number two, they have to make sure that the developer is a registered developer and they have a good standing.
And they have an escrow account as well.
They have introduced an escrow account for the project. The SPA, or the sell and purchase agreement, is also registered. So you know that when you are proposing and suggesting to the government that you want to start an off-plan property, so you have to do all these steps in order to get the approval and then be able to sell. One of those is that you have to have your sell and purchase agreement template ready and get the approval of the Dubai Land Department on the template, and then only they will allow you to release. So making sure that all these registration has been done.
And all that precautions.
All of them, yeah. So.
But because sometimes I get that question as well, Mr. Arash. But how about if the developer have delayed?
Yeah, so we will get there, because if we have made sure that all this are in place, then we can be also rest assured that in case if things, as you mentioned, they run away, they don't complete, they go bankrupt, etc., etc. One of the things that most people don't realize is that, first of all, the property, the land itself has to be fully paid. Right? So the land is already paid for.
So the developer, when he decides to build a building or construction, they fully pay the plot?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there is a value there.
Sure.
Right? So even if they don't complete, there is an asset there that you can put your hands on them.
Yeah.
So the land is there. In addition to the land, the government will be asking the developers to provide bank guarantees to cover part of the whole project's value. Why do they ask that? For these cases, that in case if they don't build and 30%, 40% is remaining, there is some liquidity, there is some cash to finish the project.
Because there's a value for the plot as well.
There is a value of the plot, and then some construction has been already done. There is a bank guarantee that they can also use. In addition to that, they are forced to do insurance. They have to get an insurance for the project, and the insurance is in cases of accidents, force majeure, anything as such that is unpredictable. Well, basically, the insurance will get involved, and you can claim. Now, to answer your question, after all this, is this that if they run away, if they don't complete, the government immediately will take action. And the actions will be like this. Number one, they will freeze all their assets. Any assets they have in the country, it will be frozen. Yeah. Number two is that they will freeze their license. So there's no way that that license can be operational anymore. Number three, they have the right to sell this project the way it is to another developer, and that developer will come, take over and finish the project.
Yeah.
You see? And it's a good opportunity for some other developers because someone did the main work, right? And they left it over, and you can buy it at a lower price.
Yeah.
And then you can continue.
And they can take over and they can sell the project and complete it.
Absolutely.
So in all circumstances, the consumer or the customer rights are protected here in UAE.
That's correct. Even if this project is not being sold. Because you might say that maybe no one is interested to buy it. So what the government will do, they sell the land. At least the land has value, right? So they sell the land, and the fund received from such a sell, it will be distributed between all the investors
who invested in that particular project.
Yeah. So we have a department in Dubai Land. It was part of Dubai Court. Now it's again part of Dubai Land Department. It's called the cancelled project department, which they handle and supervise the whole cancelled project. So you have to just go on REST app, which is an application most of these investors are familiar with. You will just sign up, and you register yourself as a owner of such unit, and then when your turn comes up, you will be notified that okay, you need to get in touch with us and get your money.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
that's something new that I've learned today about
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It gives you a comfort that in worst case scenario, I still might be able to get something.
Absolutely, and we've got also good answers to our international clients who want to bring their money here and they want to invest and they want to feel comfortable about investment in the UAE in general. Mr. Arash, what are the issues related to rental properties and how can we find solutions to those issues?
The main issues that comes our way and clients are complaining about, we see that it comes from not being aware of what they have signed as a tenancy contract. I believe that by properly reading, reviewing everything that is detailed in the agreement, there are so many things that can be avoided at the first step. For example, if they are fully aware about their commitments, if they are not happy or they are not capable of upholding them, they will negotiate with the landlord and they will fix it before even joining. But if they have joined and signed and concluded the deal, then there's no going back on that, right? Then you are committed to do it. So I believe that's the biggest issue, that they are not aware about their legal obligations, contractual obligation, basically. The other issue that also happens is that they have not properly inspected the property. So sometimes they say that, all right, the property is still not ready. Let's just look at another property which is so similar. So they show them another property, and they say that the other one is identical. Based on that, they go and sign. And when they receive the property, it's not what they had in mind. So inspecting the property is also very crucial.
Important.
In addition to that, some tenants, they go further, and they hire a company to come and inspect the property as if they are buying the property. So that's a bit extreme, but that is also not a bad idea, because if you are signing with a landlord for 1 year and you're going to live in the house,
yeah.
so it's not bad to have it checked. The other issue is regarding the financial side of it. They feel that they are able to continue with this rent based on the assumption that they can make money throughout the year, and they want to have their dream house. They want to be on the beach, they want to be on Palm, they want to be in JBR and Marina, or places that fancier, but they don't do their calculations properly. So what happens is that they give a check, and then halfway, all those promises that have been given to them, it doesn't happen, doesn't fall through, and then they cannot pass their checks. Then the landlord will file for an eviction.
Speaking of that, if the landlord come and say, guys, I want my property back, I want you to leave, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Do the landlord give them a notice?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's actually one of the main issues and disputes that we see around the rentals.
Yeah.
So the landlord has rented the property and they signed a 1-year contract. What happens is that the rent goes up. The landlord becomes greedy.
Can they do that though? Can they put the rent up after a certain period of time?
There are ways to do it. For example, of course, not during the duration of the contract. So if you have signed for 1 year contract, you cannot increase
you
it.
cannot okay.
No, during this 1 year, you cannot increase it.
After
However,
that 1 year?
you can, provided that you take the necessary steps. What are those necessary steps? Number one is that you cannot just decide about how much you want to increase. There is a restriction for that. And the restriction is very easy to understand. What are your limits? Dubai Land Department has a rental increase calculator. They have an index. Based on that, you will just enter the details of your property, of the property that you are renting, and whether the landlord or the tenant. And you will mention how much you are paying at the time being and when your contract will be ended. The calculator will calculate for you if the landlord is allowed to increase, and if they're allowed to increase, how much they're allowed to increase. Basically, this is calculated based on the current current market rent.
And this information valid for the clients? So if the clients want to find out about the increase of the rental, can they go on a specific website or a special website to find out?
That's right.
How much increase?
It's Dubai Land Department.
Okay.
It belongs to the government. This is the
Sure.
authority which I was referring to. They go there and they check if they're, because, for example, if I receive a notice today, it says that I want to increase up to this amount.
Of money?
First thing I'm going to do,
I'll
I will
and
go
check.
to the website and check myself. Are they allowed or they're not? So
If they're not, if the landlord, let's say for argument's sake, sorry to cut you off, if
Sure,
the
no
landlord saying, I want to increase that amount of money and it's not reasonable, can the client lodge a complaint?
The client doesn't need to do anything. If
Ah.
it's more than what the law permits,
Yes.
they just continue living in the property. They're not going to go out. If the landlord wants to get an eviction, then they have to go and file a case against them. And if they file a case against them, it will not stand. And the reason is that they are asking for an amount which is not
Reasonable.
permissible.
Yeah, correct.
You see, so that's where they're gonna have problem. So number one, Dubai Land Department rental increase calculator has to give you a confirmation. That confirmation should be sent along with a legal notice to the tenant 3 months prior to the expiry date of your tenancy contract.
Wow, 3 months.
If it's 3 months, 1 day less is not acceptable. It has to be
3 months,
3 months
exact.
minimum.
Minimum
Yeah,
even.
so you can send it 4 months before. That's not a problem. So you will inform them ahead of time that we want to, if you wish to renew, this is going to be your renewal rent. And of course, a copy of the calculator result will be there
It
as
will
well.
be attached with the new agreement, and it's up to the client to stay or leave.
Stay to or leave. Yes, exactly. Now, sometimes the reason that landlord has is not to increase. They want you to leave the property for personal use. There are certain reasons that the law allows you to or enables you to ask the tenant to leave the
To leave.
property. One of those reasons, if you want to use the property for your personal use. Second one, if you want to sell the
To sell
property.
the property, yeah.
Third one, if you want to do major renovation that doesn't allow you while there is a tenant inside the building. So, and then there are others as well, but the main ones are these. So if you are planning to ask for eviction based on these, then you need to give the tenant 12 months
1 year.
notice in
Wow.
advance. Right. So basically, if it's a new tenant and you are planning to do this next year, the time that you are signing the contract with them, at the same time you have to serve them with a notice.
Really?
Yeah,
So,
so
both at the same time.
you
Like
can
the
do
agreement
that.
and the eviction notice, if the landlord planning
Well, yeah, if you're planning to do it
to do it within 1 year.
next year,
or-
then definitely you have to do that.
Wow.
So you have 12 months, they have 12 months, and they know that at the end of this, the expiry of this, they have to leave the
move.
property.
Yeah.
But there are certain things here. Some landlords use this in their favor. So what they do, they will send you a notice saying that I want to use this property for my personal use. But the idea is that they want to rent it to someone else at a higher rent,
Sure.
right? So
Wow.
they know that they cannot increase the rent for the current tenant.
Because they have to go through that index and the calculator, and they cannot go above
Exactly.
the
So what they do,
recommended.
they try to play it this
Yeah.
way, that I want to use it for myself. But some of these tenants who are clever enough that they consult with a lawyer, okay, they know that if this is the case, they will just watch this property. They see if the landlord, after the eviction, rent this property to someone else at the higher rent, immediately they will file a case against the landlord, ask for compensation. They ask for compensation, and the judge will accept that in most cases.
So you're protecting the person who used to live in the property.
Exactly, because they are saying that if you want this property to be rented to someone else, this current tenant has the right to stay. Why you want to? Why you want to move them out?
But you know, in saying that, I'm pretty sure so many people have done that.
They have done that, and some tenants, they were not aware and they just left. I have so many cases right now on behalf of the tenants against the landlords for the same reason.
And if this goes to court, obviously the judge will rule it, and the landlord will pay compensation to the person who used to live in the property. Have you been through those cases?
Of course, we already have as well.
Okay.
So it's very normal if that happens. The landlord will be punished by paying that compensation. And now, as we are going forward, it's becoming strict, even more strict than before as well. That if a landlord is planning to sell the property, it's not just sending a legal notice. They have to have proof that they are actually selling this property.
So they have to engage like a brokerage company.
Exactly. They have to have a contract with a broker. They have to list it. They have to show that they have perhaps an agreement to sell, etc. Then the judge will be convinced, and then only they will ask for eviction. Otherwise, just claiming that I'm selling is not going to stand.
It's not good enough. You have to show us some evidence.
That's right. That's right. These are one of the recent developments in the.
What about maintenance, Mr. Arash? Can you tell us a little bit more about the maintenance?
Yeah, maintenance is one of the most problematic matters when it comes to the relationship between the landlord and the tenant. So the rule of thumb is that the landlord is in charge of paying the major maintenance fees, and the tenants are normally in charge of the smaller amounts. Now, what I normally advise my clients is to be especially clear on this point, if not about the rest of the things. Meaning that you need to specify exactly what are the responsibilities of the tenant and what are the responsibilities of the landlord. It's very easy. I don't know why people are not doing this. You see? So if you decide about this, agree with it, with the landlord, from day first, you will not have a problem.
They have to have some sort of a mutual agreement or mutual understanding before with the landlord and the client before he rented the property. Absolutely.
Because my understanding of minor maintenance could be different than the landlord's understanding. Maybe they think that, okay, everything about the ACs, lights, walls, etc., everything is on the tenant. But the tenant could believe that, no, maybe
this is the landlord's job.
It's the landlord's job. So why base a legal relationship on assumptions? Better to discuss it, write it down, and then agree. Now, imagine if they don't reach an amicable understanding on who needs to pay the maintenance. What normally happens, which is not advisable at all, is that if the tenant is in a situation where they have a problem in the apartment or the property, and they're asking the landlord to handle that, the landlord sometimes they say that you handle it, I'll pay you later. This happens over the phone. And the tenant does the maintenance, and when he claims the landlord doesn't pay. So you paid, who told you to pay? Who told you to do it? If such agreement is happening verbally, it's okay to talk over the phone. But after that, send an email to the landlord and ask them, kindly confirm so that I can proceed. When you receive the confirmation, then only you proceed.
And then the landlord won't, obviously, he will have to pay.
Of course, because he agreed.
By the tenant.
That's great. Another thing is that if they don't reach an understanding, then they have to take this to the court. So this is also another matter which investors perhaps should be also aware of. We have a special court for rental dispute. It's called the Dubai Rental Dispute Center, RDC. This court is specialized in real estate relationship and matters. It's way different than the normal procedure what we have in Dubai courts. And they are completely aware and specialized in the rental issues. So, and it's very easy for people to take the matter and register it with the committee. However, it requires legal understanding. You have to be able to write and speak Arabic when you attend the hearings. So that's why the client normally they assign these matters to us. We represent them in RDC. So issues that goes to RDC are related to what we have discussed, whether it's related to rental increase, unlawful eviction requests, disturbance, if the maintenance has not been accepted to be taken care, and also when it comes to the handover time. Some of the landlords, unfortunately, because they take a deposit at the beginning, when the tenant wants to leave, they claim that there are damages in the property and they want to use that deposit in order to...
So they can take it.
They take the deposit. And sometimes these deposits are quite huge. It's a significant amount.
Of course.
And the tenant does not want to just let go of that. What is the solution? Is to file a petition at RDC and ask the court to get involved, force the landlord to return the deposit. Now, if the landlord is actually saying the truth and there were damages, what will happen is that the court will appoint an expert. The expert will come, investigate to find out what's happening in the property.
And inspect the property and check out the property. Wow.
If they confirm that there are damages, they will evaluate those damages and they will announce. They will give a report and say that, Judge, there are damages, 1, 2, 3, and my estimation is this much. Then the judge will agree to deduct it from the deposit. This is the reason I always advise my clients, if you are renting a property, both, whether they are a tenant or a landlord, take a video, take a picture from everything inside the apartment. There are many times that you are renting even a furnished apartment. Make sure everything is documented and send it to the other side. If you're a landlord, send it to the tenant. If you're a tenant, send it to the landlord. Ask them to confirm that this is the situation of the apartment. When things like this are happening, where the landlord is claiming there were damages, you can easily prove that from the day first, the property was like this, and I received it like this. Then they cannot have such baseless claims.
That's a very good evidence, actually, to document everything, even before you move into the place.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. That's good to know.
Absolutely.
This will take me to the last question.
Sure.
What are the most common legal mistakes buyers make when purchasing a property here in Dubai, and how can they avoid them?
See, based on my experience, the main issues come from, I can categorize it into two. Number one, working with unprofessional people. Either they are working with unprofessional or non-registered brokers, people that they don't have a good background, no experience, they just showed up overnight and they are selling properties. Number two, buying properties that are not, let's say, I don't want to say developers that they are not reputable. All of them are good, but they are in different levels.
Sure.
So depending on their expectation, they have to choose the right developer, right? So a person comes with a high expectation, but then will purchase a property with a 4th or 5th grade developer. It doesn't work like that. So you need to do your homework. That's where the clients normally ask us to do a due diligence to make sure people that they are involved in this deal, they are professionals, registered, they have the proper licensing and everything. So number one is working with these type of people. And number two is they don't read their homework. They don't do their homework. They don't read their paperwork. They don't read the agreement. So they don't know what they are stepping in. I receive this a lot, that what's the point in reading the sale and purchase agreement? What's the point in that? Do they change the sale and purchase agreement for me? Well, occasionally, yes, occasionally. Because if you are buying bulk, You have the power of negotiating with the developer to change few things in the agreement for you, and it happened. But let's say that they don't change anything. What's the point? The point is that at least you know what you are stepping in. You know what's coming at you. What are your obligations? What are the things that you need to be prepared for? What are the fees involved? A person takes all his life savings, brings them in, and thinks that, okay, with this money, I want to buy a property. He has 2 million dirhams, right? I like this property. How much does it cost? 2.1 million. Make it 2 million, I'm taking it. They will try, the agents will try, and they will close the deal on 2 million. But is it only 2 million that they have to pay? There are so many other fees involved.
Absolutely. The admin fees, the DLD,
No one explains to you, you are not doing your own due diligence. You are not doing your own homework. You are not aware about costs involved in such investment. And then when something goes wrong, they said, I came to Dubai, I lost my money. It's not about Dubai, it's about you.
True.
So if you are doing a real estate investment, most probably this is the biggest investment or business transaction that you are doing in your life.
Absolutely.
You need to okay, if you're not aware, hire a lawyer. Consult with someone who is doing this day in, day out, and they know all the details of these type of transactions.
So the best way to avoid it, obviously, to engage a good lawyer, to engage a good broker, like a licensed broker. And looking deeper into this, you believe that legality in Dubai real estate market is going to be stronger in future?
I believe that things are becoming much more systematic as we are going forward. And the people who are coming, the new investors I'm talking about, they are different than previous investors.
Previous ones.
People who we see and we deal with on daily basis, they are more informed. There are people with more experience. So this is not like before, like 2008. So anyone from anywhere wanted to come to Dubai and buy property. But now, yes, new people are coming, new faces we see. However, those are people that they have done a couple of investments before, so they know the alphabet of this industry.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you today.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
Honestly speaking, we've learned a lot today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And we look forward to see you again.
Absolutely. I would be happy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.